answering your questions about retirement. It's Money Talk with Michael Eastham.
I've read about these government bonds paying 9 to 10%, but it sounds too good to be true. Can you shed some light on them and tell me how they work and if they are a good thing to consider?
Well, this is something called an I bond, and I know it can be a little bit confusing because it does sound too good to be true on the surface when it touts that 9% or 10% or something like that. But one thing I will tell you is that it is guaranteed by the federal government. Okay, so I bonds, the thing you have to understand about I bonds is that there are two components to the interest. One is the base rate, and that base rate is pretty close to zero, if not zero. The inflation rate is basically what the government comes out every 6 months and says, this is what inflation is running at, and then that's the second component of the rate on an I bond. Now, here's the problem. When people hear 9% or 10%, they think that's what they're going to get in their I bond. Well, remember something, that the government reprices these rates every 6 months. And what that 9% that you're hearing is an annualized rate, but you're only going to get that rate for 6 months. So is it okay to get 4.5% for 6 months? Sure. The problem is you don't know what it's going to be after that. So it could go to 4%, it could go to 6%. It's just you don't have any control over it. It's just whatever the government determines that the inflation amount is going to be, and then they peg the next 6 months to that rate. That's one of the reasons that they can be a little confusing. The other thing is that you are limited in the amount of money that you can put into it. You can put $10,000 of cash into it. If you are getting a refund on your tax return when you file, then you could possibly buy another $5,000 from it. You could apply some of your refund to the I bonds. But again, lots of moving parts, lots of things that make it sound kind of crazy and a little bit difficult to manage. If you want to purchase I bonds, the best way to do it is go to treasurydirect.gov and do it right on the Treasury's website. I hope that helps. As always, feel free to reach out and give me some questions, and I'll be happy to help in more detail.
If you've got a financial question you'd like to have answered, click on the link below to submit your question. You may hear your answer on an upcoming edition of Money Talk.